Good evening. Will the Board of Trustees of the Pasadena Area Community College District for May 15th, 2019 come to order? Roll, please.
Dr. Fellow?
Here.
Mr. Osterling?
Here.
Mr. Hilsman? Ms. Brown?
Here.
Ms. Chanlau? Mr. Martin?
Here.
Ms. Wah?
Here.
Ms. Rod?
Thank you very much. This evening in closed session, we're going to deal with Government Code 54957, Public Employee Appointment, which is the Assistant Superintendent for Vice President of Business and Administrative Services, and some instructors in the Administration of Justice, Astronomy, Anthropology, Welding, Physics, Psychology, Biology, Construction, Hospitality, Culinary, French, and Librarian too. We'll also be dealing with Government Code 54956.9, which is a conference with legal counsel and pending litigation. We have one item. And as always, we have Government Code 54957, evaluation of the employee student president. At this time, do we have anyone who would like to comment on closed session items? Seeing none, this meeting will be adjourned to closed session. Good evening. A quorum being present for May 15th, 2019, the meeting of the Board of Trustees, Pasadena Area Community College District will come to order. No action was taken in closed session this evening. Roll call, Ms. Wall, or excuse me, roll call. Yeah, Ms. Thompson.
Dr. Fellow?
Here.
Mr. Osterling?
Here.
Mr. Hilsman? Ms. Brown?
Here.
Ms. Chanlau?
Here.
Mr. Martin?
Here.
Ms. Wah?
Here.
Ms. Rod?
Here.
And Ms. Wall, would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Hand over your hearts. Follow me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
The first order of business tonight is to approve the agenda.
Move to approve.
We have a motion from Ms. Wah, and I will second that. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Student trustee?
Aye.
Thank you very much. This is the time for introductions and recognitions, and we do have a big recognition today. Madam President.
Okay, wonderful. Well, I have several. The first I'm going to start with is later on in the agenda, I have requested your approval to hire our new Chief Business Officer, and actually he is here in the room. Dr. Michael Bush, or Mike Bush, is here. If you want to stand and wave, there's Mike. Hello, Mike. Yay. So Mike comes to us actually from Oxnard College, where I used to work. Many years ago, we worked together, and he actually has a lot of great experience in the community colleges, serving as a chief business officer, but then prior to that, also serving as the assistant superintendent in the Fillmore Unified School District, as well as in the Santa Paula Unified School District. So Mike has a lot of wonderful experience, and he is going to be joining us here on June 3rd, and it's very exciting. I guess the fourth time is the charm. So welcome, Mike. Thank you. Yay! And I also want to point out that Mike is not new to the Pasadena area. He attended Occidental College, and he and his wife bought their first house here in Pasadena on Lake Street. Is that right? Okay, yes, so he knows Pasadena, so it's very exciting to have him here. So the other recognition, I have two other recognitions to do, and the first one I'm going to call up our forensics speech and debate coach, Alan Axabal Cordero, and he is going to describe some pretty awesome results from this past season, and we're going to acknowledge that. So please, Alan.
Hi. Can everyone hear me okay?
Yes.
Hi. So our speech and debate team, also known as Forensics, we had some monumental awards this past national tournament. We won in our division the Debate Sweepstakes Award, we won our Speech Sweepstakes Award, and we won the Overall Sweepstakes Award. So for our division, we are first in the nation. And also, thank you. Also, we won something called the Sylvia Mariner Perpetual Sweepstakes Award, which it's basically a giant plaque. It's back there, right, Sasha? That's the giant plaque right there. We brought it. So what's cool about what happened here is that the plaque has lists of schools that have won this award before. Every time you go to a national tournament, you accumulate points. Pasadena City College has never been on that plaque. This is the first time ever we've been on that plaque. And the first name on that was from 1971, so it's been quite a while. And on top of that, it's been a long time since Pasadena College has won first place in this division as a team, at a national tournament. So there were a lot of big firsts for us. And can I actually bring up a couple of the people that are here?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I wanted to start with the students that were on this team right now. I'm just going to call them up by name and bring them up one at a time as I see them. I wanted to start with the coaches on our staff right now. I wanted to start with Jay Arnson. He's in the back right there. He's going to come on down. And I also wanted, as we bring him up, we're missing a couple of people because it's hard to get everyone here. But we have a pretty spectacular, phenomenal student who's been helping us coach on this team, and his name is James Shotwell. James, I hope it doesn't take too much time, but there's really a lot to say here. James won 2 gold medals for us last year when we first took second place, and he was, how old were you at the time? 16. He was 16 at the time, so you're 17 now, right? Yep. Yeah, he's 17 now.
Yay, good math.
He was one of the youngest people on our team to ever win that many gold medals, especially in our debate area. So next, I want to call up the team members that are on the team as I see them. Aaron Garcia, come on down. And then next to Aaron Garcia is Poema Oleas Mekitarian, and then Sasha Rabich, Michael Joseph Williams. Next to him is Alicia Addy, Giselle Mariel Bongaling da Silva, Monica Flores Garcia, Patricia Whitehead, Matt Ling, and Natalie Hokinson. This is just, are we missing anyone from our team now? Oh, we're missing just 2. One of them could not get off work tonight. She just couldn't do it. And Lucian, we're missing Lucian too. But this is the team that went to nationals and won those great results. And on this team, Alicia Addy, she's right here, come on forward. She tied for the 4th top speaker in the nation because of her accumulation of points. She won 3 gold medals, 1 in international public debate, 1 in parliamentary debate, and 1 in persuasive speaking. Wow. And then Giselle Mariel Boengling de Silva and Poema Oles Mekhitaryan, they tied for 8th place in the nation top speaker because they each won 2 gold medals as well. Can you step forward? So this is Giselle, and this is Poema right here. And then Monica Flores Garcia, could you step forward too? So at the national tournament, they award gold medals to like the top small percentage of people. But the way to get that is you accumulate points. The people with the lowest cum end up getting first place. Monica Flores Garcia didn't just get a gold medal. She took the first place in impromptu speaking, which is one of the most nerve-wracking events in forensics. And that's the special accomplishment that Monica had too. So could you give her a round of applause? As a team, everyone up here was instrumental in getting that first place gold medal overall sweepstakes because every rank they got counted towards that. So it really was a team effort. But I also wanted to recognize the coaches, past coaches, because this Perpetual Sweepstakes Award was not possible without the efforts of previous forensics teams. And we have some of them here tonight. I see Stephanie Fleming over there. Stephanie Fleming.
Hi.
And I see Mark Whitworth in the back there. Hey, Mark. It's because of the work that they did before we got here that we were actually able to get that Perpetual, that huge plaque that you saw back there. And so those are the, I mean, I can go on, but those are the things that I think I'll stop with for now in terms of highlighting what we did today, this past year.
Okay, so it's going to be a photo op moment. So Stephanie and Mark, you're going to have to come up here. We have 2 plaques to recognize your amazing results. And my daughter's an 8th grader impromptu person, so I'm so excited. And I was in speech and debate in high school, so I'm very excited. So the first plaque is to the speech and debate team coaches, and this goes all the way back to as many as we could find, I believe. In our records, and this is to recognize the Phi Rho Phi Sylvia Mariner Award for perpetual points. And then the other one congratulates the speech and debate team on its extraordinary achievement in forensics as the 2019 National First Place Title Wheeler Division. So congratulations, and come on up here, Board of Trustees, because we got to have a photo op.
You're in the front.
Can I just say a couple words because Mark Whitworth was my debate coach when I was in community college, and now that I'm a trustee and when I was running for office, he told me you better win because you were on my debate team. So I expect really wonderful things from the debate team, and congratulations.
Over here?
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, congratulations, everyone. Nice job.
She emailed me as I gave her a letter of rec, and then I coached her a bit. Yeah. Thank you.
Don't fall.
Aspen. Yeah. And they did make comments about her. The Aspen judges, they were like,
How do you call
Right.
I just want to say my 8th grader impromptu person said, now, you're going to get some like forensics merch for me, right? So thank you very much, because now I have forensics merch. Thank you, that's very exciting. Okay, the next acknowledgement or recognition.
President
Yes.
Powell, could I just make a quick comment? I just really wanted to say congratulations to the team and to the coach. So I
seen the debate team since Coach Axel Cordero and Fu have been the coaches, but just amazing, amazing speakers. So I really encourage any of the trustees, if you have a chance to hear the teams. These coaches do amazing work, but the teams are just phenomenal. So congratulations.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, and our next presentation is from Mandy Montes, who's going to come up and talk a little bit about the journalism folks.
Journalism.
Yeah, that's right.
Yay!
Okay, great. You said my name. I don't have to introduce myself. I'm the editor-in-chief of the Courier. Nice to meet you all. So as editor-in-chief, I have one primary goal: to make sure that every Wednesday night my editorial staff and I publish more than 10 stories onto our website. Beyond delivering good news, my responsibility lies in ensuring that both the staff writers and editors enjoy the thrill of being part of a team that is continually changing the landscape of journalism on our small campus. Currently, the journalism department has no funding, which limits the resources the Courier can obtain, one of them being our ability to attend the Journalism Association of Community Colleges, also known as JACC. Every year we participate in the regional and state conferences hosted by JACC, where staff writers are selected to participate in competitions that vary from news writing to critical review and more. Students are able to experience being in a competitive setting while also utilizing their talents to win awards. Such talents, I'm going to bring up my staff. So can James, Mike, Matt, Raina, and Victoria come over here? So this past March, we went to JACC State Conference in Sacramento, and we won a lot of awards. James and I won 4th place for team feature. Matt won our first ever first place in sports writing. It was wonderful. Raina won 4th place in team feature. This is her second time winning feature at JCC State. And then Mike over here, who's our photo editor, he won 1st place in magazine photo and sports, 3rd place in creative, and James also got an honorable mention. He's the co-photo assistant. He won honorable mention for a photo story. And we won other stuff as well. Amber and I actually won an award for regional. Amber's the former editor-in-chief. So as you can see, we're pretty amazing. We win a lot of awards. And aside from competitions, JCC also invites journalists from esteemed publications such as the LA Times to hold workshops, and everything from different types of reporting, ethics, photojournalism, and new media to how to get a job in the professional world. Therefore, students are able to network with not only other students, but with professionals from their field and gain an insight into their future. Our success in the journalism field could not have happened had it not been for our advisor, Nathan McIntyre, and Dean Futner, who worked tirelessly to provide us these resources to succeed. Without this program, we would not have been able to network, experience being in positions of leadership, and discover our voice through writing. So I'll be transferring next year, but I believe that now, New York University.
Oh, congratulations. Awesome.
I'm double majoring in journalism and French. Which is why I believe that now is the time to establish a proper budget for this journalism program. I'm not the only one that's transferring, so is Raina, and a couple of other of our editors are also going to be transferring. And so we believe in this program. We invest a lot of time, and Nathan does too. And we get so much out of it, and our success is really because we have these resources provided to us. And I would really like it if we could talk about having an actual budget so that so other students can benefit from these resources as well. We look forward to meeting with you to further discuss the future of the Courier. Thank you.
Thank you, and congratulations. Thanks.
Any recognitions for the trustees this evening? Seeing none. Public comments on non-agenda items. Ms. Osborne.
We have 5 speakers tonight, and I'll just real quickly go over the rules of the road. You'll each get 3 minutes, and there's a red, yellow, and green light right next to the dais there. And I'll give you a friendly little warning with about 30 seconds to go. We have a big agenda tonight, so we are going to hold fast to the 3-minute rule. And our first speaker will be Adela Ortiz. Come on up, Adela.
Okay. Hi, my name is Adela Ortiz. I'm a part-time student here at PCC. I am a speech-language pathology assistant major with a 3.5 grade point average. I just received my first grant ever, the Cal Grant C, and I will lose my grant and place in the program due to the changes the program coordinator, department head Beverly Dunbar has made. This is why I'm wanting the college to recognize my catalog rights. Like I said before, I will lose my grant if my catalog rights are not recognized. Catalog rights are a contract between the school and student. If a program changes requirement, a continuous student, which I am since 2016, has the option of graduating with the old requirements in place at time of initial enrollment, or can graduate with the new requirements. The new requirements would add at least 1.5 years to my time in school. And since I am a part-time student, I cannot afford to be in school for that added time, and my catalog rights need to be recognized. I have gone through the proper procedures to file complaints with the school, with the California Community College's Chancellor's Office, and now finally the Accrediting Commission for the Community and Junior Colleges. They said that they cannot assist me until the school has made a final decision. I have been dealing with this since my email from Beverly Dunbar on March 4th, 2019. I filed an official complaint with this school on April 10th of this year. This has been very stressful to me. I have had to drop a class to deal with this situation and all the research that is involved in fighting this. I have met with an attorney who said that this is pretty cut and dry, but I cannot afford to hire him. Please honor the catalog rights. Otherwise, what is the point of publishing them if they aren't honored? And I would have to drop out. And I've worked very hard, and I'm an older student, and this just feels wrong to me that I have to fight so hard for something that is a right. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Ortiz. Our next speaker is Tracy Bodis.
Good evening. Good evening. Thank you for your time. My name is Tracy Bodish. I was hired here in the Department of Kinesiology, Health, and Athletics in 1997. This semester, spring, I was having discussions with my dean regarding what my class load should be offered based on my placement on the adjunct faculty seniority list and what I had taught in my 6th semester of teaching. Before those discussions were successfully concluded, to find out where I was on the list and what classes I'd be teaching for fall, I was scheduled to meet my dean in her office to discuss that, and she quickly moved the meeting to the Vice President of Human Resources office. I was promptly removed from kinesiology in that meeting, pulled out of my teaching assignment for spring a week before midterms. I was advised to submit an application for equivalency. I was denied equivalency based on the current AP. Not denied because I was ineligible to receive equivalency. After serving our students for 22 years, demonstrating what it means to be committed and a vested faculty member, this decision was unjust, unfair, and illogical. Not to mention it's caused me much stress, loss of sleep, and it's been a living nightmare. Anyway, I was told a few years back by my former dean, Dave Douglas, at the time he managed our department, that I had the highest reviews of any faculty member in the Department of Kinesiology. That includes full-time and full-time faculty. I have tremendous respect and support for my faculty. Every single member of our division fully supported me in my application for equivalency. I have a copy of those letters I'd like to leave with someone tonight so you can peruse those. My reputation among students is paramount at this college. I've consistently received positive and outstanding reviews from students over the years during my employment here. This is also my second time being nominated for the most valuable adjunct professor or instructor at the college. I'm here tonight to ask you to make some in-depth inquiries on my behalf. Please shed an objective perspective regarding my situation and have a conversation with faculty to gain more insight regarding the situation. I ask for your help and your advocacy. In closing, I'm passionate about my work. I love this college, our student body, and we in the Division of Kinesiology have an amazing and outstanding faculty whom I'm proudly working with on a daily basis. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you, Ms. Bodis. Our next speaker is Diana Olmos.
Good evening. This is my first time public speaking. Good evening, Board of Trustees. For the past 3 semesters, I have had the pleasure to have Professor Tracy Bodis as an instructor. I never once thought that she would be removed from her current kinesiology classes to later have another instructor take over and change a dynamic that didn't have to be changed. For the past 3 semesters, I have taken Professor Tracy, and she has given nothing but respect to all her students, and she has received the same respect back. Professor Tracy is and has always been approachable and willing to make time for students when they need it the most. Students enroll in Professor Tracy's class for Professor Tracy. The teaching methods that she has works, and it works so effectively that students are willing to try other different classes she has to offer. Like myself, a PCC student, I have never thought a professor would have such an impact on me, but Professor Tracy did. I never thought I would speak on her behalf in front of the Board of Trustees. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Olmos. Our next speaker is Coco.
Thank you. I would first like to acknowledge the Board of Trustees. Thank you for letting me speak tonight. And thank you to the AS members who have had to deal with Coco the past couple days. And thank you to everyone here that's giving me a voice. I'm here tonight to talk about, it is National Mental Health Awareness Month, and I am appalled at the fact that there is very lack of presence in terms of acknowledging that this month is National Mental Health Awareness. I've seen various posters posted all over school for gay prom, for graduation. All of their faces are plastered all over, but where is the presence for National Mental Health Awareness? Today they had a beautiful display downstairs, but that was following the conversation that I had with them with my own private microphone yesterday. I am a disabled student here, and I am advocating for the rights that are listed in our United States Constitution, in our Declaration of Independence, that we fight for the mental health and well-being of our nation. Thank you.
Thank you, Coco. And our final speaker tonight is Amy Wang.
Greetings, PCC Board of Trustees, and to the audience beside me. My name is Amy Wang, and I'm a student and tutor here at PCC, requesting, almost imploring, that you bring Professor Tracy Bodis back as our instructor for Kinesiology Aquatic Fitness Activities 28B. I've known Professor Bodis since spring 2018 as an amazing Pilates instructor with an abundant amount of enthusiasm, passion, energy, knowledge, and excitement in a 7 a.m. Monday class. She immediately became my mentor, and I knew I wanted to take more of her classes with this wonderful, caring instructor who not only encouraged me to keep pursuing my dreams of becoming a physical therapist, but she reminded me and my classmates that we're all superstars in our own way. In fall 2018, I enrolled in her beginning aquatic fitness class, and right now, spring 2019, I'm taking her intermediate aquatic fitness class. However, since April 9th, 2019, which is a week from our midterm, over a month ago, she's been absent from my class, and I and my classmates have been unable to find an answer from PCC as to why she cannot come back. I do know Professor Bodis is fighting to come back. I do know that our current substitute instructor, Professor Robert Fleming, informed us yesterday that had he not volunteered to substitute for the class, PCC would have canceled the class. These two amazing instructors are watching out for the students. Why isn't the Dean of Kinesiology or the other upper management of PCC helping the students? Why would they rather cancel the class than let Professor Bodis come back? Why did they take our professor away from us? Don't they realize that the students could be negatively affected if the class was dropped in the middle of the semester? They may no longer qualify for financial aid. They may no longer qualify to be in the Pathways program. They may no longer be able to qualify to transfer at the end of the semester. I'm just one tiny, frustrated, brave voice asking for help because I want my superstar mentor, Professor Bodis, back. But how many other voices haven't been spoken? The classmates who dropped her kinesiology classes because they would rather get a W than stay with the new sub. The ones who could no longer qualify for financial aid, pathways, or transfer if the class was dropped. Personally, my grade for my most important class this semester, physiology, suffered one letter grade because of the stress of this experience. I've been struggling to bring it back up ever since. My confidence that PCC is looking out for their students has been damaged by this, and silence from PCC speaks loudly as indifference. So please bring Professor Bodis back as my aquatic fitness instructor. I've already lost over 1 month of valuable instruction time with her. Please don't make it more. Thank you, PCC Board of Trustees, and everyone else for listening to my plea.
Thank you, Ms. Wang.
Thank you, Mr. Osterling. This is the time to approve the minutes of the regular meeting of the Board of Trustees for April 24th, 2019. I will entertain a motion.
I move approval.
Second.
We have a motion from Ms. Brown, a second from Mr. Osterling, student trustee.
Aye.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries unanimously. We will now go to the consent calendar, and the first few items deal with the consent items dealing with students. And I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion from Mr. Osterling, a second from Ms. Brown. And before we vote, I just I was reading these. Is this the first one? Mm-hmm. I was very excited about the incarceration program. I don't see that. I've not seen that at any college, and so I want to congratulate the PCC for that. I think it's outstanding. Further discussion? All in favor, student trustee?
Aye. Aye.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. The second group of consent items deal with instruction, and I'll entertain a motion to approve.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion from Ms. Brown, a second from Ms. Waugh. Further discussion? Student trustee?
Aye.
All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. The next consent items deal with business. Mr. Osterling?
I wanted to request to pull 3 items from the consent calendar for separate discussion after we approve the consent items. And the items that I would request that we pull would be F10, F12, and F18.
Okay, we will take those in order after we approve the consent calendar. Anything else, trustees? I'll entertain a motion to approve the rest of the consent items.
Second.
We have a motion
Excuse
from...
me, I'm sorry. I would like to talk about F17.
Okay. What would you like to ask about 17?
I would like to ask that out of the $275,000 that that's going to be earmarked for media buy, how much of that is going to go? I understand that it was described to us that all $270,000 is going to be for media buy. But sometimes when you do media buys, the media buy firm takes a percentage of that $275. So I just want to get clarification that the $275,000 is all that is going to be used would be for all ad placements.
Vice President.
I'm going to defer to our very own Alex Bucklehide.
Good evening. Thank you. I can't say specifically, but roughly of that $275,000, we expect all of that substantially to be directed toward media buys. The agency fee is in the separate $40,000 in that contract estimate.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thanks.
Does that answer your question?
Yes.
We have a motion on the floor to approve the consent calendar except for items 10, 12, and 18. And further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Okay, we will now go to item number 10. Mr. Osterling.
So I wouldn't mind discussing 10 and 18 at the same time because my question is basically the same. And what I wanted to do was just get a little discussion on this from our administration, whoever the appropriate party is, about these systems. And what I would hope to understand from the presentation would be how these new software systems fit into our overall ITS strategy, and will these systems be silos or will they integrate with our existing systems?
Okay, great. I'm going to ask Dr. Terry Juni and Candace Jones to come up and give us our answers.
So, thank you, and I'll start. I'll give the kind of the rationale of why we want to purchase these various software packages, and then Candace can add in how they fit into our overall technology plan.
Thank you.
She can also fill in on the technical aspects that she knows more about than I do. Basically, item 10 is to go out, basically an RFP to go out for 2 pieces of software, a curriculum management system, and then an online catalog. And so the curriculum management system, you have heard us talk about WebCMS. That's what we have now. It's a system that we've had for quite a long time. It is out of date. It doesn't allow us to do a number of things that we're looking to do. And so the idea of the RFP is to bring in a more up-to-date curriculum management system that will, you've asked the question of how they sync with each other, that will sync better with Banner. It will sync better with the state's curriculum inventory system. It will sync better with item F18, which I'll talk about here in a second. And also has the potential of us better linking it to where we do our student learning outcomes, where we do our program review and things of that nature. And so a big part of why we want to update it is so that things are better linked and will allow us to do that. The other aspects of it is that it's a better piece of software in regard to getting reports, in regard to tracking the curriculum approval process as it goes through the C&I process and ultimately comes to the board for various aspects. And so that's kind of the curriculum management part. The catalog aspect, right now we have a PDF catalog online for students to access. What this software will do is basically give us an interactive software where a student could go in and pull up their program of study. They will be able to click on individual courses on that page they're looking at, and a box will drop down that takes them to the description of the course. It even has the potential for us to then link it to Banner so that they can actually register while they're in the catalog. And so it's a much more interactive, supportive software than what we have right now. A big part of all of that is linking it to our guided pathways efforts. And that's really where item 18 comes in, Concentric Skies Program Mapper. This basically allows students to be able to get information on the programs that they will be put into in regard to their guided pathway maps and things of that nature. And so it will link to the first two pieces of software I was describing. Another aspect of the work that we're doing with Concentric Sky is that there will be a significant cleanup of our curriculum right now to prepare it for that, which is really necessary before we implement all three pieces of this software. And that cleanup ultimately will benefit our students greatly, reduce confusion, and help show how they're better linked. If you have technical questions, I'll let Candace answer those.
Good evening. So I'll address as it relates to connecting to the larger technology master plan. Let me first acknowledge that we will go through a major rewrite of the technology master plan when we get our new educational master plan in place and facilities master plan. So those things are planned after those activities really happen. We want to make sure that the new technology master plan really aligns with the visionary sort of aspects of the new EMP, as well as aligns with our goals around vision for success. So let me acknowledge that first. I will try to answer that question as it relates to our existing plan and our existing EMP. So as it relates to integration sort of strategies, I think it's really important that IT make sure that we're implementing systems that are able to use standard integration protocols to share data with one another, which actually helps to reduce a lot of the redundancy and issues that happen between communicating with systems. Today we hosted Barney Gomez from the Vice Chancellor, from the Chancellor's Office, who's the Vice Chancellor for Digital Innovation and Infrastructure. And really the integration protocol that we're really going to be planning forward for the new technology master plan aligns well with our ability to be able to share data with the Chancellor's Office in the future. So as we look to build RFPs, and write the requirements into those things as we're looking for software solution and packages, we will make sure that we add aspects of integration so that those become scoring criteria to picking the right product that integrates well with our systems.
Great. Thank you for the detailed response on that. I would move at this point for approval of items F10 and F18. Pardon me, Linda. Go ahead.
So I did have a few follow-up questions, because really what I want to know too was this for software, or is it just for services? So I think you answered that it's basically three pieces of software that you've already identified, so we're not RFPing for that. Is that right or not?
The proposal today, the F10 item for the replacement for the curriculum management system in the catalog, is a request so that we can go out to bid for that product. So multiple vendors.
So you've not yet identified the tools?
We have not selected a vendor.
Okay, so we don't know then what portion of this 450 is for services versus?
We do have some understanding of the market space about what those packages actually cost, and so I believe the number that was offered was related to various packages out in the market space. But Instruction has done considerable, research in that market, and all of those vendors, based on our requirements, will be able to submit proposals.
And if I can just add to that, and so the amount that we're asking for actually would include the software package as well as implementation, as well as support once we have it. And so it's not just for the software. It's for, I mean, that's part of the RFP, is asking them basically to give us a bid on all three of the things that I just explained. And based on the research that we've done, it's also that dollar amount should actually provide us to purchase the software, implement the software, and then pay the licensing fees for a 5-year period once we obtain the software. And so that's why that dollar amount seems so high, is because it's really for a 5-year package as opposed to just a one-time, and then you have to continue to pay after that. The one thing that I'd like to also add as an example of this is that we recently, through EWD, purchased a piece of software called JobSpeaker. And what JobSpeaker does is it allows us to identify work-based learning opportunities out in the community and basically identify students that qualify for those based on the courses they've taken because of the SLOs in those courses. In order for us to program that software so it could do that, we needed to identify all of the student learning outcomes of all of our courses. To do that, we had to actually go to the vendor of our current curriculum management system and ask them to pull the report. With the new softwares that we're looking at, we would have just been able to pull that report. And so it was something that we wanted to do quickly, and if we had the power to pull that report, it would have taken a few hours in a day. It took us a couple of weeks to get it from the vendor. And so that's just one example of where our current curriculum management system is out of date with what's available now, and so it just to try to emphasize the we need to update our curriculum management system.
So thank you. So I think this is a little bit back to Trustee Osterling's question then. I mean, so if you're, I guess the question is, are you fairly certain then that there are packages out there for which you will have very little integration work that has to be done, so they should already have fairly good integration with our current systems? And I know that the response back was, yes, you'll include it in the RFP, but certainly there's a way, you can either do a lot of work to integrate or you can do a little work to integrate. And so if you pick packages from which there are clear-cut APIs back for the integration, I think makes a difference in how much you have to spend for that work.
Agreed. And I think the part of the scoring criteria to weight those activities higher than, I think that would help us be able to quickly identify which vendors meet the needs as it relates to our ERP. But yes, our goal is open APIs, standard integration protocols, so that there is a transfer of real-time data between systems.
So do we have examples of other colleges who have implemented similar systems to what you would like this?
Yes. Yeah. So I mean, in that research, we've looked closely at 3 of the vendors that we're going to ask to submit bids. There are others besides that we'll ask, but in that process of doing that work, we have identified other colleges that have implemented those 3. We've talked to those other colleges about their satisfaction and their suggestions on whether it was the right one or the various things that they've done. And so that's been a lot of our preliminary research in regard to that. So yes, we do have examples for those 3 software systems that we've looked at of other colleges and universities within the nation, but also other California community colleges that have utilized them.
So since this is a request just to solicit the bids, then I expect what you'll be doing then is bringing back your recommendations with a more clear detail of what the services versus the software will look like and what the level of effort will be for that integration?
Once we have completed the RFP process and we're bringing to the board a recommendation to hopefully accept one of the bid offers, we will gladly at that point give you a much further description of that particular product and how that will all work out before you actually approve the final cost, basically, and the determination of the company that's providing us their product.
Okay, thank you.
Ms. Chinlau?
I have a question about contracts and RFP process. There are certain processes I know that we have to follow some, government guidelines in how we do the RFP process. But for selecting proposals for marketing or communications purposes, I don't know if we are guided by the same process.
Yes, we are.
Okay, we had brought up earlier when we discussed RFPs whether we can look at local businesses and to see if we can support local businesses and vendors, especially since we're in this Pasadena area, from San Gabriel Valley as well, whether that can be part of the consideration. And I don't know if we can, but I would just like to add that as we consider the RFP process, if that can be included as part of a consideration.
Thank you. Any other comments?
I'll move to approve items F10 and F18.
We have a motion on the floor, and I'll second that. Further discussion? Student trustee?
Aye.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries unanimously. Item number 12 is the authorization of an award to Encore Mesa Energy Systems. Mr. Osterling?
Yeah, I pulled this item. I just wanted to get a little more background. As I understand it, we only had one contractor bid on the project. And the question is, do we have any way of, when we don't have a competitive bid, of looking at this contract and determining if it's reasonable? Perhaps have we had other similar type contracts let recently in the last 6 months to a year to 2 years of this nature? Or how do we know that this is a competitive bid since we only had one bidder? And by the way, I recognize that we will lose these funds if we don't spend this money by July 19th or similar date, and we certainly don't want to do that, but I would like to know that we're getting a good deal since it wasn't a competitive bid.
Sure, and to answer your questions, I'm going to have our Chief Facilities Executive, Richard Larrett, come up and answer your questions.
Thanks.
Yes, good evening. To answer your question on the competitive bidding, MCOR, aka Mesa Energy, did previously bid on the controls project also for D building and, GM and E.
I get confused about the building numbers too.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, well, and I'm still getting my feet under me on the campus. But that bid was also a Prop 39 controls bid, and we did have a number of contractors that came in, and so that was part of the bidding process competitively, and MCOR was the lowest bidder and responsive bidder in that bidding process. The problem that we have with these two projects, like you've noticed, is that we are on a tight timetable. It is completely state funded, and it's use it or lose it. It helps the college in our sustainability goals, so it's a good project going forward. Unfortunately, they are the only contractor that has the resources able to complete this project within the compressed timeline.
Okay, thank you.
And I have hot off the presses to answer Trustee Chen Lau's question that currently, as part of our scoring sheets, we do have a place to indicate whether companies are local vendors.
Great,
Okay?
thank you.
I'll entertain a motion for 12.
Motion to approve.
We have a motion from Mr. Osterling, a second from Ms. Hua. Further discussion? Student trustee?
Aye.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries unanimously. This final group of consent items deal with personnel, and I'd like to to give out a shout out to two people who are retiring. Regina Cooper, who is with the Counseling Center after 29 years of service, and we thank her for that. And Charlotte Williams, Assistant Professor of Social Sciences, for 19 years of service, and appreciate their service to PCC. This student trustees does not vote on the personnel items, but I'll entertain a motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion from Mr. Osterling, a second from Ms. Brown. Further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries unanimously. Tonight, we have our special meeting with the associated students, and we're going to have the...
Yes, what I'm going to do is actually ask Dr. Cynthia Olivo to do the honors of getting us started.
Hi, everyone. I would like to thank our staff that work closely with the associated students who are elected by the student body. If I could have Dean Rebecca Cobb and our student life advisor, Carrie Affuso, come forward. And now hand it over to the students.
Mr. President.
Yeah.
Hello, good evening. My name is Colin Kim. I'm the president of the Associated Students. First of all, I'd like to thank you for having us to the Board of Trustees meeting. And this year, I had the honor of serving as a president of the Associated Students. So we are here to present what we have done for a year to show all our works. Before we introduce our work, I want to introduce our board from the left side. Timothy Hu, Vice President of Business Affairs. Sarah Jo, Vice President of Sustainability. Irene Reyes, Vice President of Cultural Diversity. Han Ye, Vice President of Campus Activities. Dion Shelton, Executive Vice President. And Eileen He, Vice President of Student Service, Sana Padival, Vice President of Academic Affairs, and Sadia Khan, Vice President of External Affairs, and Alex Sarkisian, Vice President of Public Relations. So I'd like to start with Sadia Khan to present the events.
Okay. So before we begin, we just wanted to let you guys know, as you've probably seen the surplus of campaign flyers around campus, the student elections are currently happening, and Sadia, who's the VP of External Affairs, is passing around some amendments that we are hoping to get passed. Our Chief Justice, Andrew Mendoza, couldn't join us tonight, is work with the Supreme Council to pass these amendments and promote them. Alrighty, so we are going to get started. Yay. No.
I was told you guys that some of you have to go to class tonight. So.
Yes, so some of us may be trickling out for classes or lack of sleep tonight, so, but hopefully we will get a chance to speak. So I'd like to start off with who we are. So we are, as you hopefully know, but hopefully for the crowd as well, we are current students that are elected annually to represent and work for the students and the committees and institutions in place to support their respective missions. And I'd just like to personally say it's been an honor working with everybody at this table, and it's been an honor to have Zainab represent us on the Board of Trustees as well. So we are going to be going through our different committees that Associated Students runs, and we're going to start off with the lobby committee with Sadia Khan.
So as the Vice President of External Affairs, I've had the privilege to run the lobby committee. Our responsibility is to essentially represent our 28,000 students on a local, regional, state, and national level in terms of legislative affairs. So what we've done is impact change on our own campus, and this was done through the Don't Vote campaign. So this was basically a campaign to get young people more involved and interested in politics and to vote for the November midterm elections. And our whole idea was based on a reverse psychology campaign that was popular on the internet. It's basically the idea that by not voting, young people are giving voice to their opponents and allowing those people to have a louder and more impactful say in what happens in their own future. So we created these shirts that Alex is holding up that said things like, America is perfect, student debt, hell yeah, climate change is chill, tweets change lives, all of these things that obviously aren't true, but by withholding our voice, we are allowing these misconceptions to continue unchecked. Additionally, as part of this campaign, we created a video, and we would go to classes and show our video and also pass out shirts, ask questions, answer questions, and we also circulated this wonderful flyer that Alex made. He'll talk about the design, and I'll talk about the contents as well.
So something I've learned of serving as Vice President of Public Relations is to make things as simple as possible, and that includes legislation. You know, students, sometimes they're environmental science major. They don't care about all the props being passed. So we created a very simple graphic that broke down yes or no what each prop meant that fit into a relatively small space on a paper so that students could quickly get the knowledge of what they'd be voting on in the midterm election.
And it also included resources. So for example, where their polling place was, who their candidates were, where they could go to vote, if they were eligible to vote, how they could register to vote, all of these things that people don't necessarily have access to or think to research on their own. It was all in one place. And I think this was probably the most important part of our entire campaign, and I really want to thank Alex for putting so much thought into its design. We also held an event outside in the quad where we registered people to vote, and we collected over 50 registrations to vote, and we mailed them in for our students so that when voting day came, they would be able to vote easily and painlessly. The other part of our job is to represent our students on a regional, state, and national level. And so we did by traveling to Sacramento, and I actually had the privilege of being able to lobby with our trustee, Ms. Linda Waugh, and also the superintendent president in various offices in Sacramento about what our students were concerned about. Additionally, when we went to Washington, D.C., we lobbied on things like mental health, resources, as well as straight up financial aid. We also lobbied about housing, all of these things that are so important to our students. And we as students have the responsibility to represent and communicate to people in charge and who are responsible for making our laws.
So, hi, over here. So I was not the only Alex at PCC working on PR this year. And so as you can see, these are a lot of the flyers for the events we created on campus. And one of my goals when being elected in this role was to just make flyers pop. As you can see, we have a wide variety of colors, but I also wanted to make sure that students weren't only being publicize about the events on campus in one way. So this year I ran the publicity committee on campus that was filled with 12 really hardworking students, and what I did to promote different kinds of publicity is I divided them to cornerstone groups. Word of mouth, flyers, digital, and social media. And I encouraged them to utilize all 4 of these cornerstones to effectively publicize to students so that communication wouldn't be exclusive towards students that maybe were on campus longer or students that were only checking our social media. So yeah, a lot of flyers, a lot of fun. Basically my portfolio up there.
So hi, I just want to reintroduce myself. I'm Sarah Joe, VP of Sustainability, and I chair the Sustainability Committee. The reason why I was late today is because we just finished our fast fashion awareness seminar. It just ended at 7, and it really went really well. I was unique. I just came in to my position this semester, so across the semester, we had 2 really wonderful events. Our entire committee's goal is to promote sustainability, not just in terms of environmental sustainability, but also so environmental, economic, and social sustainability. So all of our events, we try to incorporate all 3 of those aspects. The first event that we held this semester was the Earth Day event. So on Earth Day, we held a picnic, just inviting people to enjoy the outdoors and also to get informed about just ways that people could help the environment. As you know, there's a lot of issues with the environment right now, but I won't go into that. And to speak on today's event and yesterday's event, we invited speakers to come. We had an attorney, we had people from unions, we had PCC professors and PCC students coming and sharing their perspective on fast fashion and how it affects all 3 of those areas. The turnout was really amazing. We got to reach not only PCC students, but also the general community around us. So that was really great. And yes, thank you very much.
Hello. Hello, my name is Han Wei Yi. I'm the VP of Campus Activity. And I'm actually one of Alex's largest client. Yeah, I have a lot of events going on throughout the semester, many of which are actually entire week events covering Rosemead Foothill as well as night students and so I start off the year. I actually start off the year with the activities. So I do a welcome week during the first week of school in fall, as well as the first week of spring. And then a few weeks after that, actually, which you see here, I plan the entire homecoming week, which is an entire week of events, encouraging student engagement throughout the campus. And engagement is one of my priorities throughout the semester or throughout my term. Just basically getting students to come out, participate through our activities, And I actually do have an event coming up in around 2 weeks, and my job is really flexible because as long as student engagement, I can really cover any type of events. And so I'm actually planning a transfer event called Cry Scream, and we're celebrating student success, or if they do get rejected, we're celebrating their sorrow, or not celebrating their sorrow, but like helping them relieve that stress, consoling the students, and we're trying to open that up to graduating students as well, and as well as students receiving certificates. And I believe my role is really significant because of that flexibility. Because I remember going to certain committees, campus-wide committees, and we talked a lot about, like getting students to transfer. I remember back in November, Dean Cobb went and told us that we needed to get students to transfer. And at that time, I thought it was like really late that the school are telling us to encourage students to, apply like a month away from the due date. And I felt that, like now's the time that we get students to encourage students to transfer, because through our transfer events, like students will see what the other students who are transferring already, getting to meet those students, getting word and advices from them. I feel like now is like when we start encouraging students to apply to colleges and plan for that. And that's part of my job as student campus activities. Thank you. And actually, we'll be going to Dion next, who, sorry, she's the VP of, she's the Executive Vice President, and basically, I get most of my volunteers and student support from her because she's in charge of the overall ICC.
Thank you. Wait. Hello. Oh, thank you for that introduction, Han. That was really great. But hello, my name is Dion Shelton, and I've had the pleasure to be the Executive Vice President for this year. And what my job entails of is being the organizer of all clubs and organizations on campus. We currently have over 80 clubs and organizations on campus, and during my term here, my goal was to increase student activity and extracurriculars and build a sense of community within the ICC Council and develop leadership skills. And in the fall, we had one of the most successful club rushes this campus has seen in like 5 years. All of my clubs had gotten over 100 student participation during the 3 days that they were out there, and I was really proud of that, and I was really proud of them for putting in the extra effort to get people involved with their clubs. And another event that I have is the ICC retreat. This is a retreat that we have it's an all-day thing on Saturday where we teach the leaders of the club, that we give them leadership development skills, we teach them how to work conflict resolution within their clubs, and we get them to foster a community within the council itself. And within my term, I've been able to not only foster a community within the ICC Council, but also I've created long-lasting friendships. I see these people hanging out outside of the ICC, and they are also familiar faces when they see each other on campus. So thank you for allowing me to do that, and I'm just really proud of them. Thank you.
Hello. Sorry. Once again, my name is Yareni. I serve as the Cultural Diversity Vice President. As Sarah, my situation was unique because I just got appointed this semester. And I've been part of the committee for 1.5 years now, almost 2 years. And ever since I joined, my goal was to see that diversity is not only cultural. So when I became vice president, I ran the idea through my committee members of changing the name of the committee and the position, and it was approved by the executive board that it's gonna be called Vice President of Community Diversity, since we know diversity involves more sexuality, religion, ideas, beliefs, anything. So the Supreme Council is just passing amendment number 3, which the student body at large is voting on right now, which is the little sheets that Sadia passed you earlier on. You can see that there's multiple amendments, but you can see that the name change of cultural diversity is happening there. So as a whole, my committee and I have been working on that specific same role of not only celebrating but also teaching students about diverse groups of people. So as you can see, we did the Armenian Genocide Remembrance Day. So we taught students of what happened during that day. it was not really a celebration, but a commemoration of what occurred. We had the pleasure of being in the Courier for the Armenian Genocide, and I was really proud of my committee and everyone that was there. We also did Dia de los Muertos, which we put an altar, and we showed a movie, Coco, really popular. We also did Pride Day for the LGBTQ community. Women's History Month as a day of just celebrating women and their lives. And lastly, my committee helped with the Ramadan event that our student trustee put on. So yeah, thank you.
Before we move on to Zainab, like wrapping up all of our remarks, I also just wanted to acknowledge there are board members that did not speak tonight, but they do work just as hard as all of us. So down there, Timothy, he is our VP for Finance. Eileen He, our VP for Student Services, and Sana, our VP for Academic Affairs. Zainab?
Yes, it was a pleasure working with this board and the advisors that come along with this board. They're just amazing, whether you're having a bad day and you just want to lay down on their floor and talk about it, or like planning an event, they're always there for you to have your back. And I shared a really special moment with Dean Rebecca Cobb at the Community of Thought event where we just kind of cried because of how beautiful the event was, and not the event, but like the people, and having the opportunity to see a group that we don't often represent, and see that and see the way they pray and see the way they break their fast. It was beautiful, and it was a really special opportunity. And I would like to thank Trustee Osterling for showing up, and your presence was much appreciated.
You're welcome.
Yes, but that's it. And everyone here has been amazing, amazing friends, amazing colleagues, and I wouldn't have wanted to work with anyone else this year besides them. Yeah.
Okay.
Yay! Yes.
The trustees have any comments? And again, I think we have to get these students out of here to go to class. Ms. Brown?
Well, I just wanted to congratulate you guys. You guys did an excellent job. I could see you in the future. How well, if you continue the way you are, you will make excellent executives and leaders in the future. So this is a good training process for you, and you've done well. Congratulations.
Yes, definitely.
Ms. Chin Lau?
I echo Trustee Brown's congratulations to you, and I hope that your parents are very proud of you. I'm sure they're wondering what you're doing on the weeknights, right? Whether you had enough to eat, and how you're doing with your homework. I'm sure that not only are you doing so well with helping the college and helping your fellow students, but that you're also thriving academically. The only thing I would like to say is I would love to know what the Supreme Council is, because it sounds like they get to do a lot of deciding, and maybe the board can talk to them about some of the decisions that we're going to need to make in the future. So thank you very much, and congratulations.
Ms. Hua?
So I want to congratulate you all. I'm always just so proud when I see our students come up in leadership like you all have. This is actually one of my very favorite board meetings, is when we do this jointly. And I really want to give a special appreciation to Trustee Rad, who has so well represented you at all of our board meetings, and President Kim. And I'm so sorry to have missed your special event. I was out of town. I do also want to give a special shout out to Sadia, who came for advocacy when we were up in Sacramento, and I just want to tell you how wonderfully she represented the student voice at the legislature. And then I wanted to say that I am doing a civic engagement group project with the San Marino High School, your old professor, Matthew Slimp, so he gave a shout out to you, and I said, she is coming out in her leadership, so you have trained her well.
Thank you. Mr. Osterling?
I wanted to just comment on the comprehensive presentation and all the things, various activities that you guys have going on. I think that's awesome. And yes, I did appreciate the invitation to the community iftar, and I had never attended one of these. And let me tell you something, these folks know how to end a Ramadan fast. They had a fabulous dinner. We had chicken, we had kebab, we had hummus, yogurt, and pita bread. It was awesome. But Trustee Rad, the thing that I was really, really impressed with was the openness and the diversity of the audience that you attracted, in addition to the folks that were observing the Ramadan and breaking of the fast. You had members from all the various groups and cultures, and the diversity was really wonderful to see. So thank you for welcoming us all. She did not even get a chance to join in the ceremonies because she was answering all of my questions about what was going on and keeping things organized. And it was a great event. Thank you for inviting us.
Thank you so much.
Mr. Martin.
Well, through all the years, I think there's one thing that has stood out to me, and that is just how our students at Pasadena City College are our greatest ambassadors. They're not only our mission, but they're our greatest voice. You once again have demonstrated tremendous maturity in your organization, in your presentation, in your camaraderie. So it's just a thrill. And I just appreciate the leadership you're showing, but just the tremendous maturity. It's very, very impressive. Thank you.
Thank you. Madam President.
And I just want to echo many of the comments from the trustees and say, you know, I've been here almost 4 months, and even though I haven't had as much time to interact with everyone in student government as much as I would like to normally, I can't tell you how great it has been to walk across this campus, through the quad, through this building, downstairs, and the life that's going on, the energy, all of the posters. I love seeing all of the election posters. I love seeing that people are actively hoping they're going to win that position, and, you know, and the creativity in getting folks involved. And I just think you all have done an amazing job. And it's not always the easiest thing to do at a community college where we're not residential. And so the fact that you all put as much time into the work you do on behalf of students, that's a true labor of love. And you're really here to provide a sense of belonging. And I just want you to know how much I appreciate it, because there are lots of colleges out there where there isn't that sense when you walk across the campus, but it's really here, and it's a testament to all of you. So thank you very much for everything you do.
I want to thank you for being here. I also have attended some of, not your meetings, but in the past when I was president, the student meetings, and I always thought they ran a better meeting than we do. But I thank you for being here. The person who does the sustainability, can you see me sometime? Because I got a deal for you. Okay, thank you very much. Now go to class.
Yeah, go get some rest.
You can leave.
You can. Thank you. Thank you, students. Great job.
We'll now move into action items today, and the first is pro forma authorization to transmit third quarterly financial status report. I don't think we have to add anything.
No.
I'll entertain a motion.
I'll move that we approve the report.
I second.
We have a motion from Ms. Brown, a second from Ms. Chin Lau. Any further discussion? Student trustee?
Aye.
All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Number 2 is approval of the Memorandum of Understanding between the Pasadena Area Community College District and the Pasadena City College Foundation regarding funds received from Southern California Public Radio. Anything?
Yes, I have a
Lau?
question on that. I know Bobby is here, so thank
She
you.
is. She's coming on up. Come on up, Bobby.
I was given the explanation of the MOU with the foundation and the college, And let me just say that it's very smart for us to think about the next campaign. Congratulations to Bobby and the foundation for raising $16 million. It's not an easy task to do.
Thank you.
And one of the benefits of having a campaign is to establish a fundraising infrastructure for the foundation, which will then support the college. And from my understanding, in the first campaign, before the first campaign started, which is the campaign that we have now, there wasn't a fundraising staff, correct?
That's correct.
And how many fundraisers are there right now? One. Okay, so my question is that going forward into the next campaign, what is the anticipated number of staff in fundraising that that the foundation can support?
Well, first of all, the foundation is currently in their strategic planning process right now. So the idea of moving into a campaign has not been officially a conversation yet. And many of our donors are in a pledge period of about 5 years. So I expect that a campaign in its full public phase would not happen until somewhere close to our 100th, which would be 2024. So we have a while to prepare. I would imagine that we would follow the same pattern of having a feasibility study that would identify for us not only what the initiatives would be in the campaign that would be driven by the educational master plan of the college, and then identify what we believe the community could support. We are certainly very sensitive to the fact that there's an election coming up, and there's been a conversation about whether or not a bond issue would be an important thing for the college. So we would also be very sensitive to that timing. So we've got a lot of those questions still to come. But I would imagine we would at least maintain what we have now. In fact, when we started this campaign, our original budget identified that we were going to need at least 2, and we got 1.
Yay, that's
so
great.
I imagine we would want at least 1 more, depending on what that goal would end up being.
Okay. That's terrific because what I would like to just maybe have the foundation board consider is a permanent staffing in fundraising structure because, consultants, I did see the budget for the initial campaign with consultants, and consultants, yes, you can use them for the initial campaign, but ultimately it would be, I would ask the foundation board to consider building the infrastructure of having permanent staff to continue on with the campaign, because what's spent on consultants is, certainly is quite a bit, and yet once the campaign is done, they're done too. So there is no permanency in continuing with the fundraising operations of the foundation. So that's just something that I would advise and like the foundation board and you to consider.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. So, we have a motion for, we're on number 2? Do I have a motion for number 2, please? Approval.
Second.
I have a motion from Ms. Waugh, second from Mr. Osterling. Further discussion? Student trustee?
Aye.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, motion carries unanimously. We have 6 public hearings this evening. Item I3 is a public hearing regarding the Sunshine proposal for negotiations for the successor agreement for the 2019-2020 academic year submitted on April 24th, 2019 from the California School Employees Association, Chapter 777 to the Pasadena Area Community College District. The board will now accept public comments not to exceed 5 minutes per individual on the initial proposal from the California School Employees Association, Chapter 777, initially submitted on April 24th, 2019. The public hearing is now open. The public hearing is closed. And the wishes of the trustees?
No, there's no motion.
Oh, no motion, excuse me. Sorry, that's a public hearing. Excuse me.
No motion.
Item number 1.4 is a public hearing regarding the Sunshine Proposal for negotiations for the Successor Agreement for the 2019-2020 academic year, initially submitted on April 24th, 2019 from the Pasadena Area Community College District to the California School Employees Association, Chapter 777. The board will now accept public comments not to exceed 5 minutes per individual on the initial proposal from the Pasadena Area Community College District to the California School Employees Association, Chapter 777, initially submitted on April 24th, 2020. The public hearing is now open. The public hearing is closed. Motion to adopt the district's initial proposal to the California School Employees Association. That is our action.
Yes, that's the action.
So moved.
We have a motion from Mr. Osterling. I will second that motion. Further discussion? Student trustee?
Aye.
All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Item number I-5 is a public hearing regarding the Sunshine Proposal for negotiations for the Successor Agreements for the 2019-2020 academic year, submitted on April 24th, 2019 from the Police Officers Association to the Pasadena Area Community College District. The board will now accept public comments not to exceed 5 minutes per individual on the initial proposal from the Police Officers Association, initially submitted on April 24th, 2019. The public hearing is open. The public hearing is closed. Next item is item 1.6, a public hearing regarding the Sunshine Proposal for negotiations for the Successor Agreement for the 2019-2020 academic year, initially submitted on April 24th, 2019 from the Pasadena Area Community College District to the Police Officers Association. The board will now accept public comments not to exceed 5 minutes per individual on the initial proposal from the Pasadena Area Community College District to the Police Officers Association, initially submitted on April 24th, 2019. The public hearing is now open. The public hearing is closed. It is now time for a motion to adopt the district's initial proposal to the Police Officers Association. I will ask for a motion.
So moved.
We have a motion from Mr. Martin, a second from Ms. Brown. Further discussion? Student trustee?
Aye.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries unanimously. Item 1.7 is a public hearing regarding the Sunshine Proposal for the negotiations for the Successor Agreement for the 2019-2020 academic year, submitted on April 24th, 2019 from the California Federation of Teachers, Local 6525, to the Pasadena Area Community College District. The board will now accept public comments not to exceed 5 minutes per individual on the initial proposal from the California Federation of Teachers, Local 6525, initially submitted on April 24th, 2019. I will open the public hearing. I will close the public hearing. Item 1.8 is a public hearing regarding the Sunshine Proposal for negotiations for the Successor Agreement for the 2019-2020 academic year, initially submitted on April 24th, 2019 from the Pasadena Area Community College District to the California Federation of Teachers, Local 6525. The board will now accept public comments not to exceed 5 minutes per individual on the initial proposal from the Pasadena Area Community College District to the California Federation of Teachers, Local 6525, initially submitted on April 24th, 2019. I will now open the public hearing. I will now close the public hearing. It is now time for a motion to adopt the district's initial proposal to the California Federation of Teachers, Local 6525. I will ask for a motion at this time.
Move approval. Second.
We have a motion from Ms. Brown, a second from Mrs. Chin Lau. Further discussion?
From trustee.
Oh, excuse me.
Student.
Student trustee. Student trustee, your vote?
Aye.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, motion carries unanimously. Item number 9 is approval of the and deletions of and modifications to the credit and non-credit curriculum. Any questions? I will entertain a motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion from Ms. Hua, second from Mr. Osterling. Further discussion? Student trustee?
Aye.
All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Number 10 is the Vision for Success, the local goal alignment. Ms. President?
Okay, for this item, we're going to have our institutional research rock star over there, Crystal Colross, who is going to walk us through the local goal setting vision for success, specifically the equity goal. That was the piece that we had not done yet. And then we will be asking for your approval of our vision for success goals as they are due to the state by the end of the month. So with that.
All right, thank you very much. I know you got this PowerPoint ahead of time, so I'm just going to kind of move through the first slides and get you down to goal 5 and see if you have any questions there. But again, this came out of the AB 1809, the trailer bill, where we were told that we needed to align our local goals with the Vision for Success goals, and that's what we've been working on. So here's everybody I have visited over the last several months, and I have more to go. But as you can see, I did a pretty good road show. A lot of people have seen these numbers. And I'm here tonight. Again, guidance from the Chancellor's office to set these ambitious and achievable, use as the basis for plans we will be developing. And our goals are achieved more quickly, we can recalibrate them. Coordinate the development of the goals and plans to make our strategic direction clear and actionable. And I just want to remind you, 2016-17 is the baseline year, and then the outcome year is 21-22. So just so we understand that, even though that looks like a 5-year time frame, of course it's really not, because 16-17 is gone and 18-19 is almost gone. So we really only have 3 years. So the goals were set kind of based on that time frame. We have 3 years to achieve them. Again, I want to say that these goals are actually, except for goal 5, and we'll talk about that later, were set by the Strategic Planning Standing Committee. They reviewed like 6 years worth of data, had some lively discussions, and set these goals. Okay, so goal 1 was completion. As you can see, they broke it out into 3 different pieces. The first is associate degrees and associate degrees for transfer. This is a duplicated number, so that means a student could earn more than one of anything in here. The next one is our CCO approved certificates of achievement, and we set a goal to increase by 20% in 3 years. That's pretty ambitious, but I'm pretty confident. And then the last one is the unduplicated headcount of students who receive degrees and certificates, and that's at 2,700. Good?
Very good.
Excellent. Let's keep going. Okay, goal 2, transfer. The first one is our ADTs increasing from 1025 to 1550. The next one is our transfers. And remember, again, this is just to UCs and CSUs, going from a baseline of 2052 to 2,700. The next one is the only one that is actually asking for a decrease. So we want to decrease the average number of units earned by students. Our average was 9252. We want to go down to 79. Why are you laughing at me? This is hard work.
Because Mr. Osterling wants to.
My light isn't working.
Oh, well, let me just stop right there.
Could you, Crystal, could you
Yes.
go back to number 2?
Yes,
And,
yes. Oops, sorry. What happened? Number 2. 2.
Right there.
Mm-hmm.
So what happens to our students that transfer to NYU?
Yeah, what does happen to them?
No credit.
Yeah. You know, it's very
no credit.
disappointing to me that they took this strategies, because we average between 400 and 600 students traveling to in-state and out-of-state private institutions that aren't going to get counted in this number. And that's very unfortunate that they took this route.
And CEOs, whenever possible, have pointed out the flaw in this, as recently as when we were at the trustees
As at the conference,
Yes.
yeah. Okay.
But we
Because
keep track of it on our own, right?
Yes, we do.
course.
We do,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay.
As
But
much
these-
as we can, we track them. We do.
But these are the things that we get funded on, and they are not funding us on transfer to private institutions, which is quite unfortunate for us.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, thanks for pointing that out. Appreciate it. Okay, so we did units. Workforce development. Okay, so goal 4, this is increasing for quarter earnings. We were very conservative on this because this is very difficult for us to move the needle on, because this is after they leave the institution. So the committee felt that if we could do a 6% overall increase in the next 3 years, we'd be making some progress. Is that a really great wage, $25,665? Probably not. but it's probably a good way to start, going 6% over the next 3 years. The next one is moving to a regional living wage, and I always like to show you down there in parentheses that the regional living wage for us is $31,767. We're hoping to go from a baseline of 35% of our students earning that to 41%. Again, very conservative 6% increase. The last one is the survey. We talked about this the last time, the CT outcome survey. So there is a survey that is done by, let me get it right this time, Santa Rosa College, where they go out and survey the students that we send them, that we say got degrees or certificates and left the college, and they try to find out if they are working in a job closely or very closely related to their field of study at PCC. We want to go from a baseline of 70% to 75%.
Ms. Chin-Lau.
Going back to 4B, that PCC will increase for students who exited the college and did not transfer to a four-year institution. So if somebody graduates from PCC and let's say gets a job in Silicon Valley, would they count because, or is this just in the regional area?
They would count.
They would count.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
They got a job. We're happy.
Could you explain, I'm sorry. Could you repeat how you came up with the 24,000 versus 25? I still never got that.
Well, this was the only one that we actually set on a percentage. We thought we could do about a 2% increase a year, average about 2%, 6% overall in the next 3 years. So that's how we increased it from 24 to the 25,665.
What my question was.
Oh, sorry?
These numbers, how
Where did 24,212 come from?
I made it up. No, I'm kidding. I'm sorry. All the baseline numbers were provided by the Chancellor's office to us. Yeah. We are assuming that they used EDD data to get that. I can't guarantee you, but that's what our assumption is. But they were provided to us.
Interesting.
Yes.
So this is Chancellor's office data on our students.
The baseline data, correct. Yeah. They gave these numbers to us.
Mr. Martin.
What's the financial repercussion if we do or don't make a goal?
None.
Okay.
That's kind of my question. I mean, I thought that we were supposed to try to set some aspirational goals since it's a hold harmless. We're held harmless. I guess we don't need it. I mean, this isn't a jump up and really rah-rah about increase.
Remember, the instructions were ambitious but achievable, and we did look at trend data, and the trend data said to us over the last 6 years prior to the baseline year, we hadn't been making much progress on this. So I agree with you. They're probably not where we want to go, but the group was a little nervous since the trend data showed very little movement.
What do you think is what are the barriers that are, what's getting in our way of a higher achievement?
Well, the audience is going to answer for me.
Okay.
I think the challenge for us is we need to do more with internships, work-based learning. We have the Career and Completion Center grand opening tomorrow. I think these things are going to really help us to move the needle and expose students to the working environment. I also think we're working on a guided entry project to help students identify careers and understand if you major in this, what are you going to get paid? What are the salaries? So I think it's all about education on multiple fronts, not just in the classroom.
So I know that we established the internship class. So how many of our students are now going through that internship class since we've established it?
That would not be data I have with me tonight, but we could certainly get you an answer on that.
Mr. Martin.
So obviously not on the percentage goals, but on the numerical goals.
Mm-hmm.
Have we considered and are we concerned about the general demographics of the population of students, age student in our general district as we computed these goals? And I say that because I know some of the high schools are into a demographic place where they're just shrinking.
Oh, yes, actually that was something we had a conversation about, was that our traditional age students are declining. So we did look at that and think about enrollment numbers when we set these goals.
So in some ways, pick any one of these. Increase in all students who are an associate degree, 3650 to 3177. I'm on goal 1, 15%. In some ways, that's more of a 15% challenge. If the general number of students attending the college is potentially lower, or the domain from which we're going to pull those students is lower, it's more daunting than it appears on the page.
Correct. Although we've, been very fortunate, we're only down about 400 students this year. I mean, I think we're very fortunate to be able to say that. But yes, that was something that we did think about.
And my concern is more than this year, 2 or 3 years from now, when our target is supposed to be there, right?
Correct. It's going to be, but we are doing some things like auto awarding degrees and certificates. We are trying to make some progress to get students more degrees. We're looking at a lot of different avenues.
No, I know we're doing a lot, and including $315,000 of marketing and stuff we can talk about later. No, we're doing a lot. I think that's great.
Can't let it go.
But I'm just kind of trying to bring reality. What does the demographics say the next 3 years are going to be for that population, and what does that mean to this? So,
you are correct. That is something we do have to consider.
Okay.
Okay, last one. Or did I skip one? Nope, gotcha. CT outcomes were good. Okay, last one, equity. So this one is problemsome on multiple fronts, but what we had to do was look at the students groups that were identified as disproportionately impacted in our 17 to 19 student equity plan. Okay, so it's the one that's going away. And then they said only look at goals 1 and 2, degree and certificate completion and transfer. So look at the equity plan. What groups were disproportionately impacted on those 2 specific goals? So we did that. We pulled them out and we looked at them, and this is who was identified in the 17 to 19 plan: Pacific Islanders on degrees and certificates, Black and African American degrees transfer, Latinx degrees transfer, students with disabilities degrees and transfer, American Indians, Alaska Natives just transfer. So those were the groups that were identified in the 17 to 19 student equity plan as disproportionately impacted on these particular metrics. Okay? So we looked at the baseline data in 0 for some. That means that in 16, 17, no Pacific Islanders got a degree, an AAAS or ADT degree. We were ambitious. We said we thought we could get 2 to get one by the outcome year, which would be 21, 22. Same thing on certificates achievement. We went from 0 to 1. And just so, there's some context to this, we average between 35 and 40 students in this category. Okay. So the next one, Black African American, we said we'd go from a baseline of 93 to 120 for degrees. Transfer, we were going to go from 50 to 70. Latinx baseline for degrees was degrees was 1434. We thought we could get that to 1575, and for transfer 748 to 1010.
Is there a reason that it's only a 10% increase for Latinx, especially if our student population is majority Latinx?
Well, again, we were looking at trend data, and they're not actually that disproportionately impacted in our outcome goals. So we felt that a 10% increase was a good number. Hopefully we'll go beyond that and we'll recalibrate that, because we have a new student equity plan coming out next month, coming to you, where you're going to see a lot more data.
Which will reflect an increase, or it's just data?
No, they set goals too.
Okay. But would there be an increase?
Yes. Yes, I hope so.
Great, thank you.
Students with disabilities, degrees 137 to 197, we're going to go, and then transfer 78 to 117, and then the last one, Alaska, American Indians and Alaska Natives, a baseline of 0 to 1. So just so I'm clear about this, next month you get to see the new student equity plan, and just so we can totally confuse you, the baseline year for that one is 17-18. there's a lot more data involved in that because we looked at a lot more disproportionately impacted groups. So you're going to see a bunch of different groups that are going to come up that we did a lot of work on and that the Student Success Standing Committee set goals for. So I'm giving you the preface for Dr. Moreras Tamayo because she's going to have to talk to you about that. But she's ignoring me.
She's gearing up.
Yeah. So, any other questions?
So I do.
Yes.
I may have missed this. So why is it that we are using this set of data for this goal setting and not the new equity numbers?
That is an excellent question, and there's no rational answer for it.
It's the chancellor's
It's what they gave us.
It's what they gave us.
And it's what we have questioned all along. Why are we doing it this way? And I completely agree with you. We should be using, for the equity goal, the 17, 18 numbers. We should be consistent.
So this was actually an issue that was brought up at the CEO trustee board table, and it is something that we're going to be bringing back again to have them look at.
And this is why you're seeing the Vision for Success goal metrics today to vote on them for May. And then in June, you'll see the equity plan goals for that based on that data. Because if we tried to do them in the same meeting, it's hard enough for us to keep it straight, let alone have you all keep it straight. But I think what's important to note is that both the Vision for Success goals, as well as next month with the equity, with the Success and Equity Achievement, Student Equity and Achievement Plan, I don't think it's possible for either document to have been vetted more thoroughly and to have had more investigation into how do you slice the onion a different way and what is possible and how do we figure out how to help all of our students no matter what. Because I think one thing to keep in mind is that you're seeing percentages that we've set as goals, but that doesn't speak anything to what we're doing for all students. These are just the students that we're required to call out because of disproportionate impact, but in no way are we limiting our efforts to serving students, to helping them achieve to just what you're seeing. But the mental gymnastics that the college, and I just have to applaud, Crystal and her team and Lenora and everyone who works on this. And next month, you're going to see an amazing presentation on the student equity and achievement and the wonderful work that's being done there by Michaela. I can't even tell you how amazing it is. And I'm very proud of these for the Vision for Success goals, especially because they really are the bedrock for our new educational master plan. And work has already started on that, already looking at all of the Vision for Success goals and the metrics that have been set and starting to think about, okay, here are the metrics, here are our goals. What are the strategies we're going to do to move these forward and to achieve these goals? And I don't know, I have to say, I know a lot of colleges across the state, but I don't know any college as forward-thinking and dedicated to really using data the way the Chancellor's Office asks us to use data, even when they do it in an irrational fashion. And if you're watching, Eloy, yes, I said that.
Any further comments? The motion before us this evening is approval of the success goals and the wishes of the trustees.
Motion to approve.
We have a motion from Mr. Osterling, a second from Ms. Waugh. Further discussion? Student trustee?
Aye.
All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. This is the time. Thank you, Crystal.
Yay, awesome.
This is the time for the Superintendent President's Report.
Okay, folks, I know that we probably want to speed this along, so I'll be quick. So Friday, June 14th at 7 p.m., don't forget your dance cards are full, folks, because it is commencement. It's right around the corner. And our guest speaker will be Simone Silva, a painter and artist and activist. And he is the only member of his family to graduate both high school and college. And his books, which you may or may not have heard of, Small Town Brownie and Cultivating a Creative Mind. And we are expecting nearly 1,200 students to graduate that night. So I think it's going to be an exciting night. And I'm really excited because it's my first opportunity to be here as Superintendent President. I know you all have been invited, and hopefully you're all coming to the ribbon cutting ceremony tomorrow at the Robert G. Freeman Center for Career and Completion. It's at 11:30 a.m. at the IT building, and the program will be at noon. Basically, the Expanded Career Center honors the stepfather of local philanthropists Molly Munger and Steve English. And I really hope to see all of you there. I think we're going to have good food too, so yay. This Saturday is Pasadena Mental Health Day at the Pasadena Central Library. And there will be resources available for community groups and others in the mental health community. It is 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. in the library building on Walnut. So in case anybody, it's pretty important, so in case anybody can be there. Earlier today, the PCC Foundation and our EOPS and Next Up program hosted a career closet for our students. The Pasadena City College community donated business clothing, and so that students could create outfits for job interviews and other opportunities. And there was a stylist on hand to help put pieces together and make our students shine. So it was a wonderful event. And in athletics, we had 3 of our teams make it to the playoffs, and that was our baseball team, our softball team, and our women's badminton teams. And they had really great postseason play, so congratulations to them. And I just wanted to add that a few days ago, I had a visit from LA Metro, and they are looking at adding a new bus line that will start at the North Hollywood station, come east through Glendale, and they have proposed having the line end at Pasadena City College. So we will actually be on a bus line if that goes through. And I reached out to Mayor Terry Tornick and had a good conversation with him yesterday, and he is all in favor of the line, which basically would come up Green Street and end at the campus and then shoot over to Union, go back down, and it would cross the Gold Line. So we would have a direct connection by bus from the Gold Line right to our campus. But it would be possible for people to start in North Hollywood and get here on a bus. So it's very exciting.
End of the line.
End of the line. That's right. That's a good place to be.
Thank you very much.
That concludes.
We'll now turn to shared governance, and Professor Rogoff.
First, I'd like to congratulate and welcome the 11 new faculty members that were approved for hire tonight. We hope that they have a long, inspiring, and happy career here at PCC. I'd also like to acknowledge the 2 retirements, Regina Cooper out of counseling and Charlotte Williams out of social sciences, teaching in political science. They have served the college admirably, and their divisions will miss them. I'd like to thank Crystal Colros and everybody who participated on Monday in our huge strategic planning workshop. We are now in the phase of coming up with strategies to start to implement our EMP and our local vision for success goals. It was widely attended by faculty, deans, administrators, and classified staff. And so it was a really great example of how the community is pulling together to make these vision for success goals a reality in a really great example of shared governance. And then lastly, we are entering one of the most joyful times of the academic year. It's the awards season. And so we have a couple of award ceremonies coming up and banquets coming up. The honors banquet is actually happening tomorrow under the great stewardship of Dr. Derek Milne. The English Awards ceremony is on May 29th. The Math Awards ceremony and the Social Sciences Awards ceremony are both happening on June 6th. And the Senate scholarships are happening on June 3rd. And at each of those, the great work of our students will be honored. On June 6th as well is the Academic Senate Banquet, and you should have hopefully received an invitation to that. And that's where we get the opportunity to honor the faculty and classified staff who have enriched our community over this last academic year, and just to celebrate the closing of the year. And that's all we have to report.
Thank you very much. Management, Mr. Alcamarino.
Well, all right. Hello. I'd like to begin actually by thanking Dean Rebecca Cobb for continued excellence in working with our associated students and providing them the support and mentorship that facilitates their growth and leadership as displayed during tonight's joint meeting. I'd also like to thank our Nikki Dixon and her staff, primarily Teresa Reed, for her work this week in hosting a training workshop this past Tuesday titled "It's Not Drama, It's Trauma," again, and emphasizing on mental health. And the MA is very excited actually to wrap up a lot of our hiring committees that we're serving on. I want to give a special thank to our deans for working diligently on these committees where some pools had hundreds of applicants. Fortunately, I wasn't on those committees. At our last MA business meeting, our focus was on looking at various policies and procedures. We have recommendations for those changes in our meeting with the respective parties. The third week of May is Classified Appreciation Week, and we as the MA want to publicly thank our classified staff for the ongoing support of the college and most importantly of our students. Good. And as Nora mentioned, there's lots of celebrations going on, and side note, again, it's not MA related, but we have our President's Latino Advisory Committee Scholarship dinner this next Tuesday on the 21st. So hopefully those of you who make it, do so. And lastly, I just hope to see many of you as possible at our Black and Latinx grad respectively. And if I don't see you, I will see you at commencement. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Ms. Mitchell.
Good evening. There are two things I want to report. One is Classified Day on this Friday at the Huntington Library. And also we're having a fundraiser with a cookbook, and we're opening up to everyone to submit recipes.
I've submitted two, so come on, folks. Let's get busy.
We got them. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. President.
Hi, there will be like 3 events coming up. The first event is going to be about the crash cream, which Han talked about before. So it's going to be about the distress events, not only for transfer students, but also for all the students who's attending PCC. So the second event is going to be about diversity fair event. So we'll be having like diverse food and diverse game that a lot of people, our students can join. And the last event is going to be about the final relaxation week, which is on the week of June 10th. So we'll be handing out the free Scantron and Blue books that we have done for every semester. And there is AS election voting happening right now. So it is from today to tomorrow. So the result will come out on Friday. So we'll be having new board who's going to lead 2019 till 2020 board. So yeah, that's all.
You're graduating? Mm-hmm. You're graduating?
Yeah, I'm graduating.
And where are you going? What's the next step?
So I'll be staying in Korea for 6 months to prepare for the my test course, SAT test course, and I'm planning to apply for the private schools in East Coast. Hopefully, I'll be also applying for IVs. Yeah.
Very good.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Good luck to you. Ms. Wow.
Well, I just wanted to report, I want to thank Trustee Osterling and President Androgianis for being able to attend the CCLC conference up at Squaw Valley. So I think it was productive. There was a lot of focus on equity and diversity workshops, and we had some great presentations, especially I think by Armadillo, Texas, right, from the president. So if you have a chance to read that story, it brought everyone to tears. So they did have the election. So the 3 trustees who were the incumbents did win their spots back. So that's Brown, Biggin, and Waugh. And
Waugh by the highest vote count they have had. Just saying.
Highest I ever got. But yeah, so I had to pay a lot of money for that. But we did. We also have 4 new trustees who are joining us on the board, and we're joined by Trustee Backer from Riverside, Trustee Davila from San Francisco, Trustee Elvisizer from Palomar, and Trustee Sanchez from College of the Desert. So I think it's a good board. It's a diverse group. So we should be doing a lot of really good things. And then I wanted to bring up that at the Joint Caucus meeting, we did bring up the support for the veterans equivalency that I know is being worked on by the State Academic Senate. But I did request that the veterans issue a resolution of support for the equivalency for veterans experience. And I think that would be worth it for us all to look at, and I hope we can support the veterans.
Thank you, Mr. Martin.
No reports.
Mr. Osterling.
Thank you. Trustee Waugh failed to mention the most important thing that happened at the league conference that we just held. Trustee Martin, you were concerned at our last meeting that we should pull the straight ticket for Trustee Waugh to make sure that she gets reelected to the board. I have good news for you. She was elected to the board. I have even better news for you. Not only was she reelected to the board, but she is now our president for the league for the next year. Now I have some bad news for you. Our outgoing president, Jim Marino, decreed that she will be referred to for the next year as Madam President. Congratulations, Trustee Waugh. Madam President, excuse me. On Monday, we had our quarterly LACSTA meeting, and as this is Foster Youth Awareness Month, and I'm the program chair, I wanted to have a program on that topic, and we had an outstanding panel. It included a emancipated former foster youth services at the K-12 level, and also at the community college level. I reached out to Dr. Olivo, and not only did she attend, but she brought the A-team with her, and that was Dr. Nikki Dixon and Teresa Reed, and it was a great panel, and thank you for helping to fill that. And then lastly, again, thank you for the invite to the community iftar. It was a great event, and again, really commend you. It was a huge turnout for the Muslims that were observing the Ramadan, but also, in addition, there was as many people that you invited that came to watch and that weren't able to observe, and appreciate you for really reaching out and making this a diverse event for the entire campus. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. Brown.
No report.
Ms. Chinlao.
I would just like to mention that May is not only Mother's Day, right? So a happy belated Mother's Day to all the moms out there. But also it's Asian Pacific American Heritage Month. And I look forward to some of the activities that may be on campus. It's a busy month, I get that. And I look forward to celebrating API Heritage Month on campus.
Thank you very much, student trustee.
So first of all, I would like to congratulate the speech and debate team for their incredible wins. Yes. Also, Dr. Cesar Cruz will be having a talk and workshop about channeling intergenerational wisdom on Wednesday the 22nd from 12 to 2. Lastly, I've talked about this briefly, but the Associated Students hosted a Ramadan event to celebrate the month of Ramadan. And we pretty much invited the PCC community to break fast with the students in this holy month. It was a spectacular event, and thank you so much to Trustee Osterling for showing again. And also, happy birthday to AS President Colin Kim. Today is his birthday.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. I have a few announcements I'd like to share with you. Claire and I have this week learned that We both have been named Citizens of the Year by the Los Angeles and San Gabriel Valley Boy Scouts. Me for my 3 elected offices, and her for her fundraising. She's president of the Cerritos College Foundation, and her work with here with Bobby and the PCC Foundation, the Methodist Hospital, and the Scouts. She loves to raise money, and she does for the Scouts. She does it in her spare time. And I believe there's going to be a dinner at the Quiet Canyon restaurant in Montebello, and they would like to have you there. And I have to talk to Bobby. The tickets are so expensive, maybe we can buy a table, but I'd like to have some of my colleagues there. And
congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations. When is that?
In August. And I also just learned that the mayor of Caserta, Italy, where my grandfather was born, is honoring me in July in Italy as the distinguished Italian American. And he has helped me with obtaining my grandfather's birth certificate. It's taken years on my road to becoming an Italian citizen, so that will be the next step, which I must do because I'm in Italy too much and they're closing the borders. Next year it's going to get a little tighter. You're going to have a visa to get to these countries. And Austria has already put a fence around their country. Hungary has joined it, but they're cutting down, and I don't want to get in trouble because I'm there too much. And secondly, this evening I'd like to thank the Board of Trustees. I've been president a long time, of this board, and I've enjoyed it. I love being president because I get bored sitting, and I have to do a number of things. But I say this because I'm not going to be with you the next 2 months. I must leave for Italy right after graduation. As most of you know, 15 years ago, I started a study abroad program in Florence, Italy. It's now one of the most popular in the California State University system, and I must be there by the 18th, because I'm the only professor that Cal State Fullerton is assigned to go this summer, and I must meet the students or we have problems. And we're staying longer. People think it's a vacation for me in 15 years, but we're finally going to take a vacation the last 2 weeks of July, and in Italy. And Claire and I paint, and so we're going to spend some time painting, and I must work on a book. I'm doing a book on women in the Civil War, which I need to get out. But Clara has been honored because 2 of her paintings will be in an exhibit in Italy, which is she's the only American with this naive group. They don't want my paintings; they want hers. And so, as a husband, they're having an opening ceremony on August 3rd, and as a husband, I think I should be there for her, and she wants. So we've extended our stay. So I will not see you. Jim will take over the next meeting, and you have elections next month. And so I want to just thank you for your quiet. Bobby, I want to thank you. It's been a pleasure to go to the foundation meetings when I can and work with you. And it's been a pleasure to work with the past president. And I love this president. I'm so happy. And you know that people don't know this. I was in Italy because I have to be there sometime in the fall. And I flew back and forth almost every second week to make sure she became president.
And I really appreciate it, seriously.
It cost a lot of money,
yeah.
too.
This is why I have a dish of peanut M&Ms on my desk, because he told me early on, I really like peanut M&Ms. So that's why there is always a dish of peanut M&Ms on my desk.
I got some today, too.
Yes, you did.
But I will see you for graduation, and I wish all of the students, I love students. I spent 30 years of my life teaching, which I think is the greatest profession in the world. And I thank God every day. And when I'm in Florence at night when I'm walking home, I just look up at the dome and I say, thank you, Jesus. And it's been a wonderful life, and there's no better profession than being a professor. And then being here at PCC with all of you. So thank you.
Sound like you're retiring.
I know.
Exactly.
Are you sure you're coming back, Tony?
Do you know when I'm getting all these, with the Boy Scouts, I said, have they talked to my doctor? Because I'm very well, but I'll be back, I hope. But I will see you. I will be back. But any further business before the board? If not, this meeting is adjourned.
Thank you. Yay.
God, Tony.